terms of during the FDB. Now, it is in the budget legislation stage, but there's a lot of people enjoy watching all the government agencies excavated, criticized for the wrong English and the wrong grammar and information that's given. But at the end of the day, the budget is still the same as the president. So citizen participation is the most visible, it's the most audible, the most powerful, even now, so I talk here about social watch. Social watch is the case itself. It's really advocating in public finance. It's always a challenge for endurance. Social watch has been advocating for more expenditures for social development since 1996. We talk about debt, from the coalition around so much longer. This money takes always takes so much longer to decide. So, alternative budget initiative is now part of the budget legislation phase. Our major partner here was central government itself. And now it's not only social watch, there are now many other groups which are looking into the budget. And as I said, the most dramatic, the most interesting part for them, of course, is the appropriation phase. But equally important, even more important for me, is the policy phase and the preparation phase. Because hardly what is proposed by the president or the executive is hardly touched, in spite of all the drama and the billions which are spent on all the things. Now, I'd like to cite here specifically as a result of his advocacy for transparency, for better budgets, and so on, to correct what are the infirmities in how we do the budget process. I have here a listing of the bills which were filed by now Senator Dingona, and we're looking forward to having this also taken up in the Senate to correct the deficiencies in the budget. Now, how about budget implementation? Now you have groups like Inside the Box, Social Watch, Transparency and Accountability Network, CCIG, Human Watch, and also Budget Accountability Group, which look at the budget implementation. And this is where we go to budget and where there are most number of citizens. Now, when you go to debt and debt management, lest we forget, because there are freedom from the coalition the budget, the debt at this time, as of 2009, the latest actually is 4.5 trillion already. But at this time, now we have a press release from the Department of Finance, it's now in the neighborhood of 5.7 trillion. And so the goal of MPPDB deployments is to have a balanced budget and to reduce the GDP budget figure, of course, it's fair game. Never mind, we're using fair games. Enough fantasy. All serial movies and television are all fantasy. Maybe a realistic priority. The real world is not as much fun. The leading advocate, of course, is the coalition. So what I'm saying is that whether many groups which are demanding accountability, these are very large ranges of public accountability. So the advocacies range from managerial accountability, like the head of the top political accountability. They want to get away that the congressman was caught in rapid charges and wasn't admitted. Social accountability, personal lives of public officials, and so on and so forth. But not as many things as I said, which really matter and which is about finance. And it is the Commission to Audit, which is the official agency which looks into accountability. Then very quickly, I will not spend so much time on it. I look at citizens' participation in public finance in the local government units. And this is the case in Negros Oriental. My class went there and we looked at the entire province, the budget, We look at their, by the way, I'm very proud that Mr. Oriental is a totally organic province. And we have organized the farmers into what we call development centers. We have developed markets for them and so on and so forth. And there is increased income in the province as well as the farmers. And these are all documented. Then I'm also very proud of this fourth-class municipality, La Libertad. How many of you, some of you have been to La Libertad? What the mayor of this fourth-class municipality did was to set up the resort. And it's the most beautiful resort run by a fourth-class municipality in a poor province, and it's earning so much. Its earnings is much higher than what it gets from the municipal tax share, etc., etc. The same with the municipality of Darwin, another small municipality. And what they have done is they go to protection of the environment. And they have set up fenced off areas where the fish and marine beings can produce these without being disturbed by all this dynamite, all this pictures of them. That's very disturbing. So these are all, and if tourists, and my students are laughing because they have been there. If tourists go there, they have to pay. If they have a camera, they pay. If they swim in the sea, they pay. And so on. And the earning, again, is so much bigger than the internal revenue. Their only capital is seawater. Negros Oriental, the capital is the agricultural produce. La Libertad, also the sea, but as a place where people gather and so on. And so these are cases where the citizens participate, not only the citizens groups, the barangays, but also the universities. Negros Oriental has the advantage of having 5 universities. Now, I have also a very long piece on participation of indigenous peoples. I feel more than the Muslims, indigenous peoples, this they're more resilient to whatever mercies governments are taking them. And there are how many millions of them. This is because I had this very moving experience last year, just before I turned 17. I have been regularly visiting my tribe, all the tribe, in the north of the Baja. And we have told them, you know you have freedom of access. You know you have a right to access. You know you have a right to participate. So on. And perhaps it's one of the most moving experiences I've had in my entire life. But also the most saddening experience, because the things that we take for granted, the services that we take for granted, are not available to the indigenous peoples. And perhaps the indigenous peoples are the most easy. Other minorities are organized, they demand, farmers demand, but indigenous peoples are very gentle. They are close to nature. But to go there and to visit them, you have to cross the mountains and rivers. You have to deal with beaches, but at least they are not human beaches. Because oil and salt and your fire. And you have to ride the horse to be able to reach them. But I think it's time to reach out to them. Look at the most deprived peoples, historically and even. So what are my conclusions? I hope I have not exceeded my time. Public finance, generally, I would say that there is much more public participation if you start from martial law. Because public participation, citizens participation has always been there, but interrupted by colonialism, interrupted by martial law. But organized citizen participation is now accelerating. Every corner of the state has a civil society and many things. But perhaps it is high time that we look at them. And I'm saying that the people of citizens' participation in public finance is very uneven Fiscal policy where the big decisions are, big policies are made, no participation. Budget preparation hardly, we are now starting, but the budget preparation that we're talking about just starting. The focus is on Congress, and this is probably because Congressman Elia and Senator Ligona, congressmen and senators are very powerful and very interesting people, and people identify with them. Very reasonable, they're reaching all their districts, their provincial offices, and so on and so forth. So it's very uneven. And also the part of government interpretation of what citizens' participation is also different. And it is most times, I have experienced this, when one of my classes in 239 were trying to put out a book to ask the question if there is money, and even yet we will still take from public finance. This fiscal and fiscal policy, occasional matter of revenue and taxes, accelerated, very broad in expenditure, but sustained because 20 years now, freedom from debt per year, but very limited in fact, accelerating in accountability, but very, very broad because we have also to be and we talk about the need for efforts to bring in minorities, Muslims and indigenous peoples to advocacy. By the way, Social Watch has a Muslim group. It also has an indigenous peoples group. We are reaching out to them. So what are the challenges? We're supposed to the usual thing you always say, what are the challenges? Probably not what I recommend. The government, it's the most wonderful thing to talk to the clients. Many offices still refuse to talk to embed equal participation in all processes of the public cycle. I didn't know it would need an executive order or a decree. Legally has that already memorandum without the government. And really consider, for me, the bottom line is, it's not enough to say that there are now how many thousand, 50,000, 100,000 civil society organizations, and they are all demanding, expecting from government. It's not, what is the impact? Or as we Visayans say, what is the impact of? Mayroon mga impacto, pinapakinggan ba? May epekto ba? Ang mga binigyan. So consider, go beyond tokenism. Because the Constitution is very clear in what civil society has been. O sige, pinatulog ka lang. Nice meeting you. Million Pamasayo right now. You're taking that all. Okay. Now what are the challenges? What are the challenges to people's organizations? The challenges are how to build up capacity. This is what Social Watch is doing. This is what Pera Natalino immediately is doing. Build up capacity to engage in participating public. Every year we have a debate for budgeting and where the entry points are. At what phase do you enter and engage in the government? We have established partnerships with the major players. Our participatory budgeting, FPG knows this, is very unique in the entire world. This is what people are interested in. This is because members of our group include politicians, include congressmen and senators who are interested in putting in an alternative budget and supporting. So you have to build up your capacity. It's not enough to say, and I love all this interest. The first time we presented an alternative budget, we said, we won and we went to everybody. And there's nothing to say. I think it's a wonderful vision. And there's a matter we need to answer how much, how many, which ones, the salaries, the benefits. So whatever we do now, what we say, one invite to everybody to come. We want this for having, we want all this cleaning equipment, and then in major hospitals, we also say, beware. We want a particular project to have we want alternative learning systems. This is because learning methods may not necessarily work for many of our people. Alternative learning is the least funded in education. Then we say they should use it. When we say we go organic, we tell them how many training programs and so on and so forth.